Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining Dave's shop. Morning Coffee Talk Live. I'm Dave, and it is Tuesday, February the 10th. So we're going to give everybody just a second to catch up. Good morning, everybody. It is just doing a quick sound check. Everybody can hear this morning. Fun. Good morning, Captain Fire. How you doing? Thank you for joining me on YouTube this morning for Morning Coffee Talk. If you're new here, let me know what part of the country you're from. Dan, hey, how's it going? Good morning. And here in Central Texas, it's about 65 degrees outside, going to be in the 80s again today. So Dan over here on TikTok, all the way from Boston. I know it's cold there. Dan, how cold is it there in Boston right now? I'm doing good. Oh, okay. India. Thank you for joining us. That's a long way off from Central Texas, but I'm glad you're here. Morning. 18 degrees in Boston this morning. I know the upper East Coast and the East Coast, man, y'all are just getting hammered with that. Good morning. Hey, Roy, how's it going, man? North 64, Wisconsin, in 28 degrees. Roy, what's the temp where you're at this morning? Bruce, 7664, good morning. Phil, over on YouTube, good morning. Let me know where you're from, Phil. And is it cold, warm? Kelly, I know. Kelly's from Michigan, and I know it's cold in Michigan. That's for sure. That's crazy. Oh, man. Sorry, I got too many things on the desk this morning. There we go. Long Island, 18 degrees, Phil. Carter just joined. Hey, man, how you doing this? How long have you been on so far? Carter, so when you say how long have I been on, you mean how long have I been going live? Probably for maybe 6 months. 6 months, I think, so far. You know, I don't know exactly. I'd have to go back and try to track down the date, but I've been on social media since 2019. I've been just going live probably the last 6 months. Hey, Rebecca. So just so everybody knows, our over here on YouTube, we have Captain Fire all the way from India this morning. Captain Fire, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. Carter, where are you from? Wisconsin fishing. Hey, man, how's it going this morning? I'm always excited on Tuesday because Monday, when you get to Tuesday, at least Monday, Sawyer, good morning. You've made it through probably the toughest day of the week, which is Monday. And this past Monday, yesterday, was the Monday after the Super Bowl. So a round of applause goes out to everybody who actually got up and went to work and didn't play hooky yesterday. Absolutely, Captain. Be sure to tell Sis. I said, I will. I'll tell her. Nicole, good morning. Dolly, 123 just joined. Hey, how's it going? Morning, everybody. Hey, if you're new here, you know what? It's free. You can tap that screen for likes. You can make sure you hit all the buttons, like, share, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you're on TikTok, just and sorry, I got distracted there. Something popped up on the screen. So you know what to do. Hit all the buttons, like, shares, all that fun stuff. We got a goal. We're trying to get to 10,000 followers on YouTube and on TikTok. So let's see who gets us there first. And so, yeah. But Carter, to answer your question from earlier, I've been on social media since 2019. I've probably only been on TikTok maybe a year or so. So thanks for the fan club. Appreciate that, Roy. Kelly, you said support, subscribe. Absolutely. Support, subscribe, all of those. Sometimes when you're doing videos and you're posting stuff on multiple platforms. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Hey, Frank. That sometimes, like for TikTok, it's like, share, follow. Same thing for Instagram. But YouTube's different. YouTube's like, share, and subscribe. But everybody gets it when I say hit all the buttons. And what is nearly as important as, there's two things that are really important. And of course, you always like people to like your content. That's always a plus. But following or subscribing and sharing, that share, people don't realize how strong just sharing the video is. If you see a video or a live, whatever. And when you share it out, it gets pushed out to more people, and then more people get exposed to what we do here in the morning. So, and I don't know how. I've watched other lives. Some lives I'm not sure. I see people go live and they're laying in their beds, and I'm like, not sure why they would do that, but they do. Dude, we ain't interested in none of that. So, yeah. Yeah, he's blocked. He's blocked. Yeah, North 64. Yeah, it started off good. I had to block that one guy. He's being inappropriate. I don't know. It's probably a bot. That's probably the first one we've had in quite a while. But just so everybody knows, if you're inappropriate on either one of these during the live, I will block you because, that's not what we're about here. And so I just like to get that out right up front. I don't want anyone else, on the live to feel uncomfortable. And I sure don't want anything like that on the live either. Monster Bid 7, thank you for joining us. So, we rarely see that on YouTube, but occasionally you'll get a bot jump in there and and TikTok's done a lot better job of monitoring and blocking a lot of that stuff. So, but occasionally one will slip through, and they start to be inappropriate, and you have to. It's really quick and easy to report them and block the account so that they can't post any more inappropriate stuff during the live. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Thank you. What is this? The giveaway. Is it tomorrow? No. Tomorrow is the last day to enter the giveaway. We're going to do the giveaway on Thursday. Let's see here. Do I have? And just so everybody knows, Ed, you know how I asked people if you would like to submit a question of the day what's this? All right, Roy. Hey, man, stay safe out there. Have a great day. Thank you for joining the live this morning. I appreciate you. I know y'all aren't going to believe this. I'll talk about it here in a minute. Anyway, you remember how I asked everybody if you'd like to submit a question of the day? And you can put it in the comments. You can send it to the email address, daveshop2@gmail.com. Well, Ed sent me some questions, and I actually used one of his questions on yesterday's question of the day. And so again, if the invite's still open, if you come up with a question and you would like for me to use your question on question of the day videos, send it to me. If I use it, I'll make sure that you get credit and let everybody know where the question came from. So yesterday was really the first time I ever got to do it. It was pretty fun. And those question of the day videos are posted not just on TikTok, but TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. And if it's a really good question, depending on where it's at, sometimes I'll post it on my LinkedIn too. So, will you get any followers out of it? I don't know. But I still want to, I just like to share and let everybody know that somebody else came up with the question, and it's just another way to engage with each other too. So it's fun. I don't care how you come up with the questions, but if you come up with a funny question or an engaging question and you want me to use it, let me know. Send it to me via email or drop it in a comment, message me directly, whatever. And if I use your question, well, I'll and usually I do question of the day. See, there you go, Kelly. Perfect. That's the kind, that's the kind of stuff. And that's a good question I haven't used. So yeah. So we'll see. Matter of fact, since you're on YouTube, and Kelly, did you just post that in the chat? So I don't know if it's different or not. I'm going to just write it down real quick. Got that one. All right. At Kelly. $28.21. I just wrote down your at too. So yeah. All right, Chris, how's it going? Hey, so Chris in the Panhandle, is it warmed up there too? Because I mean, it's like we're having some 80-degree day. What your favorite wood project you want to do? So Wisconsin, you asked me what is one of my favorite woodworking projects I'd like to do. So just so everybody knows, I'm not a carpenter by a long shot. I do like woodworking. I like learning how to do stuff. Most of my woodworking abilities are self-taught, and so and I can build a lot of stuff. But one of the things, my nemesis is, I would like to be able to build a cabinet and build drawers. A lot of people go, I don't know how to build a drawer. There's lots of different ways to build a drawer. There's some really simpler ways, and then there's some more detailed ways. And I just never have. What's really slowed for me, what slowed down a lot of the woodworking is the price of lumber. I mean, it is crazy. So, a lot of times when I get an opportunity, or I see, especially like plywood and stuff like that, occasionally somebody will have bought a whole sheet of plywood and cut it up, and they'll put it out, and they don't want it, or it's free. You just got to go get it. So I'll pick up parts and pieces if it's something that that I want to do. But like, here's a perfect example. I'm going to make some planters, and you can make these they're really simple planters, and you make them out of fence pickets. And everybody goes, oh, why are you using fence pickets? Why don't you use pine? Well, fence pickets, because they're pretty cost effective. They stand up well outside, and I can probably, I can cut 2 or 3 of them pretty quick, like, in less than an hour. And then, a little glue and a brad gun, you can put them all together pretty quick. And I built my wife 2, and then her sister liked them so much, so I built her 2, gave those away. And then I've built them several times and given them away for like fundraisers at the church and different things like that. And they, depending on where you put them around your house, but like most people put them up on the porch or something like that, they'll last you, I don't know, I've got some out there that are probably 2 or 3 years old now. So, and you can do that. I want to say it takes, and these are the 3.5-inch pickets that I think it's either the 3.5 or 5.5-inch wide picket that I use. But you need to have a table saw. So I use the table saw, miter saw, but I can get them cut out pretty quick. And they're not a lot of money, but they look pretty good, and you can set your plants in them, and you put your little bottom in them. So whatever plant you put in them, you leave the bottom open just a little bit, so it allows water to drip through, and the bottom doesn't rot out on you. Matter of fact, we're this summer, I think it's usually in June, we've got a big family reunion again, and my wife was asking if I would make some to donate. We use them like a fundraiser, and people that come to the reunion we have a big auction, and all the money from the auction that's raised goes into the family reunion fund, and it's managed and kept in the bank for the following year. So we've been doing that, and our family's been doing that reunion in the same location, Oatmeal, Texas, for over 175 years. Now that, to me, that says something, that people don't really have a lot of people don't have family reunions anymore, and I grew up having family reunions, and so I think they're pretty important. So yeah, I don't know, y'all let me know, do y'all still do family reunions? Have you been to family reunions? Hey Lloyd, good morning. Kim, good morning. How you doing this morning? Livia, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Why are house condos today built so cheap in the U.S.? Don't last anymore. Uh, Thank you. Appreciate that. I agree. Again, the cost of building houses has gone up for multiple reasons. The land is expensive. Um, all the materials have gone up, and you know what you see for the most part, the cost of labor's gone up. There's some good things that they do, but you know I agree with you. There's definitely a lot of things in home building that I think they could improve on. You know, if you talk to a builder, they're going to tell you. So if you talk to a small builder, they're going to tell you they're trying to make it as cost effective and keep the price down on the home. Um, but you know, some of the stuff that they do, they could spend just a little more money, and it would be the home would last a lot longer. But they're not in business for building homes that last 100 years. They're in business to build homes that last you 30 years, and then you want to replace them. Or you know, a lot of times, not even that stuff just doesn't last as long, and most people end up having to, you know, replace the flooring, repaint stuff. You know, builders paint new houses with flat paint, and they don't even use good flat paint. They use the cheapest flat paint that they can buy. And I never understood that, because then they end up having to go back and touch that same flat paint up 15 times before they actually sell the house, when if they would just paint it with a good paint the first time, you know, you could live in the house 15 years before you had to paint. I personally think that you should paint any interior wall at least a satin, if not a. Usually, I like satin because you can clean the walls with a damp rag if kids get something on it. If you use flat paint, you got to try to cover it up, because if you try to clean it, not only you can't clean the paint, but a lot of times they'll take the texture off the wall. I hate flat paint. Me too. I despise it right now. So I've lived in this house 20 years, and I hate to paint. I know how to paint. I have painted, but it's just not something I enjoy doing. And I've painted sections of my house as I've gone through, but I still have a couple of bedrooms that need to be repainted, and and the paint that I want to use, was it Kilmer or Sherwin-Williams, no longer makes that paint. And then, so trying to match paints is, and I have some of the original. I mean, I've even gone back before they discontinued the paint and had Sherwin-Williams mix a gallon. And when you put it on the wall and it dries, it's just a shade darker. So I'm like, you know, if you're going to paint a room, whatever paint you use, if the shade's just a little off, just a shade or two off, as long as you paint one room the same color, you're usually okay. But if you get into an open area where you have colors, it's noticeable. Yeah. And, you know, who wants to constantly be repainting the walls? Not me. So, yeah. Oh, my dad was. So, Lloyd, your dad was a painter? We use Diamond Vogel. Okay. And it's the same thing outside. Like, you know, they paint the outside of houses that's exposed to the weather with flat paint. And here's a word of advice. And not me, I got this from a professional painter of 40 plus years. If you ever paint your house, demand that they use, and you're in Texas where it's so hot. Now, I don't know how it's affected in cold weather, but I would think the snow and the cold weather affects paint just as much as, you know, 100 plus degree temps. Is you want to paint your outside of your house with high gloss enamel paint. It's the top of the line paint. It lasts longer. You won't have to paint your houses as often. And if you can keep the color the same, after you've painted your house with high gloss enamel, the second and third coat, it builds up, and you can even stretch it out further. Like I've been here 20 years and I've painted this house twice. First time, and then I painted it a second time. And I can just power wash the house and it'll look like it's freshly painted. So, yeah, done plenty of that painting. Couldn't do it again unless, yeah, painting's, you know, say what you will, painting's tough. I always have to attack it in small bites because, one, I get bored. And I get tired of climbing. My knees are not as like they used to be, climbing up and down ladders. Not fun either. Okay, so I was just checking to see if anybody else had entered the contest. Remember, Benchmade, we're going to give away this knife this week on Thursday. On Thursday's live, we're giving away this knife. And so the cutoff to enter the giveaway is tomorrow at 12 noon. So I'll remind everybody again in the morning that if I don't have your entry by 12 noon tomorrow, the giveaway will be closed, and I'll get everything ready for the drawing for Thursday morning. And we'll see who wins the knife, and then we're going to have another giveaway. So I've got a lot of giveaways coming up. So we'll see how it goes. What is it? Yeah, he's retired. I was using a trimmer, no ladders. Yeah, well, if you were painting all the trim, that's tough too. So, there's always that argument when you're painting a house is, do you paint the trim first or the wall first? So Wisconsin Fishing, tell me, what do you paint first? Trim first or wall first? Anyone know anything about merging companies and losing PTO? Kelly, at one point I worked for Starwood Hotels, and they were bought out by Marriott International. And when they bought us out, we had PTO from one company and no PTO from the other company. But they had to figure out how they were going to blend and put all that together. 8 years later, so basically what they forced, and I can't tell what everybody else did, but for me personally, they forced me to take 9 weeks of vacation. But I had to use it all. It was a use it or lose it. I had 1 year to use that PTO. And then after that, all the PTO was on Marriott. But a lot of times, that's what I've seen. A lot of times they won't merge the PTO from one company to another if the other company's buying them out. Do walls first, then trim. That's the way I always do it too. I think that so Wisconsin Fishing, do you tape off the walls when you're painting the trim? Because I used to, but I don't anymore. Because I found that most everybody's using a water-based paint, not an oil-based paint anymore, even on the trim. And so if you just keep a damp rag handy, if for some reason, hey, yeah, you don't have to. I agree. If you keep a damp rag handy, you can, if for some reason you get a drop or, you don't get a straight line, you can, take a damp rag and clean it off before it dries. So then you save yourself a ton of time by not taping off trim. around the doors or any of it. And the other thing is that'll really help you, people don't understand, is you want a good angled brush, because that angle on the brush will give you straight lines if you're coming down a wall. They help with that, but a good brush. Don't buy a cheap brush. They're a little more expensive, but they're well worth the investment if you've got much painting to do, my opinion. Even though I'm not a professional painter, just a painter by have to. So what is it? Let's see here. All right. That's good. Okay. So we've done that. Now, I forgot to do this yesterday. Avery, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Kevin just joined. Hey, Kevin, how's it going? And fix it all day. No tape. Good deal. That's like so we're in agreement. If you're painting your house and you're painting the wall, you paint the walls first, then the trim, and you don't use tape. You'll save yourself a ton of time. But like I said, just get you an old rag that you don't care if it gets paint on it. Keep it damp, and if you do got a drip or something, you can wipe it up really quick. Okay, so today we're going to do the taste test for this Mosh protein bar, and this one is peanut butter crunch, and it shows a picture of like a Reese's peanut butter cup on it. So I'm just curious to see if it tastes like a Reese's. Wouldn't that be good if it did? Because these are good for you. They got like 13 grams of protein, full of brain nutrients for the brain, and they donate 1% of all the sales to women's Alzheimer's research. Well, they don't taste like a Reese's Pieces. And you taste a little bit of chocolate, but mostly it's just kind of like a peanut butter crunch. They're good though. They're so far, I've tried 3 different flavors of these, and I'm really impressed, because a lot of times protein bars, to me, and I eat protein bars all the time, they don't have a lot of taste to them in some instances, and some, if you get one that tastes really good, then the sugar content's really high. So anyway, if you're looking for a good protein bar, that's my taste test for the protein bar today. That's pretty good. I've got, see, 1, 2, 3. I think I've got like 3 more flavors to test. So anyway. So Kelly on YouTube says, my daughter just called with this news. She has 3 weeks. She has 3 weeks for what, Kelly? My door needs a facelift this spring. Boy, I tell you what, I hate. So I don't know if your front door is wood or if it's a metal front door. Oh, okay. So your daughter has 3 weeks of PTO at her job. Well, I would tell her to go to HR and find out if the company's been bought out by a new company, if they're going to merge the PTO, and they might. I don't want to say that they won't, or what's their stance? Because if she has 3 weeks of PTO and they're not going to merge it, then are they going to pay them for the PTO? Are they going to pay them out? Are they going to let them take the PTO? Give them 6 months to take 3 weeks of PTO, or or she finds out everything today. Kelly, if you don't mind, tell me who she works for. You know, guys, I don't know if you're seeing the trend, and, you know, maybe it's just because it recently happened to me, but I'm seeing a lot of different companies are continuing to do layoffs. And everybody I've talked to, I talked to, I was talking to and got in a conversation this past weekend with an extended family member on my wife's side that I'd never met before. And she works for United Healthcare, and she's an RN for them, but she does, she works from home. And she was telling me that they just went through a reorg, and they laid off quite a few of their staff too. So, you know, big corporations, I think they probably do this more than we a lot of times realize. But people that are in the customer service business or work from home doing customer service, phone work, you know, whatever, there's a lot of customer service call center type stuff. But if you think about it, anytime you need something, what do you have to do? They all have an 800 number. They have a call that you need to call. Insurance companies, health insurance companies, Medicare, driver's license. I mean, every big deal has a call center or something like it. If they don't have an actual physical center, they have people that work remote that answer the phone and help do customer service. And right now, AI, if a company thinks, these companies have spent billions of dollars investing into AI, and they are going to take those jobs, and it's just a matter of time. So if it hasn't affected you and you're doing a customer service type job, beware. Stay on top of your game. I'm not saying they're going to take everybody out all at one time, but they are replacing people, and that you don't want to happen to you. Morning, Ed. How you doing? Just talking. We were talking about Ed and using his question of the day yesterday, and so I was just reminding everybody the invitation's still open. If you have a question of the day, you can put it in the comments, message me directly, send me an email. And then we were talking about the giveaway. Tomorrow at 12 noon is the cutoff. So if I don't have your entry by 12 noon tomorrow, then that particular giveaway will be closed, and we'll draw for the giveaway on Thursday's live. Yeah, thanks. I you know, I always like that. The Bomb Brian 7488. I do like Marty Robbins. He's a good country singer. He was. I mean, he's passed on, but he's got some good music. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. I appreciate you. So we've done the taste test on the protein bar, talked about the weather, did the Benchmade giveaway. Let's see here. What can we do? Oh, so let me just check something here. So I don't know if any of you are paying attention, but let me find his message. So I think it was Plumber. So what's his handle? Plumber. So at Plumber61, Roy, I hate to say that, I hate to admit this, and I haven't talked to him personally, but he had commented on one of my videos, and then this morning he pops in on live. He is somebody I knew and my sisters when I was a kid. However, my memory is not great when it comes to, you know, my wife can tell you stuff that happened when she was 4 or 5, and I can't tell you what happened 2 days ago. And so my memory's terrible, but I don't remember the guy. But he knows my sisters, and you know, said that we used to come to his house, and I just don't remember. And I'm drastic. I'm looking through all these. We went to school together, and I think he was a couple years behind me. I think he went. He was in the same grade my youngest sister is, and so anyway, I hate to. I don't want to tell him, man, I don't remember you. I'm trying to be nice, but eventually I'm just gonna have to say, God, Roy, I just don't remember who you are. Seems like a super nice guy though. So he private messaged me. My wife has historical. Yeah. So I agree with you. Believe it or not, I know it is a little stuffy in here this morning. It's it's been at I think they said yesterday it was 86 degrees for the high. And so it's going to be in the 80s nearly every morning. Hey, Lord Scone, how's it going, man? But yeah, my wife has what I call a photographic memory. I can never win an argument if it comes down to, if she says, hey, you remember when you did X and it was, 10 years ago, I just have to say, yeah, I guess so. I don't remember it. And mowing God, good morning. And so, yeah, if your wife has a really good memory, you're probably going to lose lots and lots of debates. And my wife has a really good memory. And it's funny how some of us can remember things, way back. And others, like me, I like I said, I barely remember what I did yesterday. We're having annual February thaw right now. Okay. A week above freezing temps during the day. Wow. So I thought I saw on the news where it was saying that there's another really cold blast of weather coming towards the East Coast. Maybe it's north of Illinois, up on the northeast, New York, that area there. But I figured y'all got some of that too. And they were saying that there was another real cold blast of air and weather and snow, I think even, coming that way. There was a guy on yesterday from New York, and he said, I thought he said he had 18 inches of snow on the ground, which is 18 inches a lot. That's, a foot and a half. That's quite a bit of sorry, Ed. I'm just saying that's just what I heard. Maybe I heard it wrong. Maybe it's just something kind of like bypass you. That's just what the news, the news weather people are wrong all the time. So you never know. Oh, it's a private investigation company. Well, I don't know. How big is the company, Kelly? So Kelly asked a question on YouTube about if you have two companies and they're merging, do they merge and let you keep PTO? And so I just, shared my experience with her. Was that when I worked for Starwood and hotels and they were bought out by Marriott, they gave us a year to use it or lose it. And I had to burn 9 weeks of vacation. I don't know. I felt pretty confident that, with Marriott, I was able to build up 10 weeks of vacation. But I think most companies should allow you to, build up 3 months of vacation just in case. Because think about it, if you have a medical surgery or something like that, you could easily be out or out of commission for 3 months. That's not really unheard of. And I know a lot of them don't like to carry PTO on the books like that. But, you know, you as an employee, if you're trying to protect yourself and your income without buying, I know you can buy insurance, short-term disability and long-term disability. It gets expensive depending on where you buy it at. And even that disability pay is only 60% of your pay. It's not your full paycheck. So if, you know, if you could save up that much PTO, I think it's good for the employer, because the employer then knows that you're not missing a lot of days of work. And if something happens to you, you're going to get your full paycheck if you could build up to like 3 months worth of a pay. So, but I was fortunate. I had 10 weeks of pay when they cut us loose, and they just paid us for it. In the UK, if you're sick, you get paid sick leave. If you've been at a company for over 2 years, it doesn't affect your annual leave. Huh? Okay. True, but like if you have a heart attack and you can't come back to work for let's say 3 or 4 months, do you still get paid by the company? This is Bob's Films from a YouTube said that in the UK, if you're sick, you get paid sick leave, and that if you've been in a company over 2 years, it doesn't affect your annual leave. I know a lot of companies keep sick time and vacation time separate, but a lot of companies in this day and time, they don't have sick and vacation. They just call it paid time off, and it all goes together. And like at Marriott, you earn a certain number of hours. You accumulate hours, and that's how they did their PTO and sick leave. And so, like, I mean, if you were off and you had PTO, that's what they pulled from. In the UK, if you're sick, so Bob, is that correct? Or, I mean, like if you had to be out 3 months because you had open heart surgery, would you still get paid? Mike Harris joined. Hey man, how's it going over here on TikTok? Yep. I don't know. Mine, especially when it comes to Chris. Being old and married, start early telling. You know, most men have what they call selective hearing, is what my wife calls it. If it's something you want to hear, they could be in another room halfway across the house, and you'll hear them talking. If it's something that you don't want to hear, they could be sitting right next to you, and you wouldn't hear a word they said. So Bob says it depends. Some companies pay about 3 months, and then they cut it to 50%. Okay. I know it's different. You know, every company's different in how they handle it. I know in Canada, for women, if they're having a kid, they can take, I want to say it's like 6 months full pay. And then the next 6 months, it's 60% of their pay. And then if they want to take more than a year, they can, there's some insurance that they can buy that will give them another year. So they could, you know, literally spend the first 2 years with their children, their newborn children, before returning back to work at their current position and pay. So their jobs are protected. I think that could be really tough on some companies, especially smaller ones, because if you have 10 employees and 2 of them drop out, and you're still having to pay them, I could see where it might put additional work on other workers. Well, oh man, I feel bad because February in Texas is usually probably the coldest month of the year for Texas, whether you're in the Panhandle or in Central Texas. Usually February is one of the colder months, and sometimes into March. I mean, March is usually not super warm, but usually don't have springtime weather until then. And so this year it's really unusual. I think we're supposed to have, so Saturday, I think they're saying 50% chance of rain, which we desperately need rain. We're in a drought. And Chris says he's not putting his big coat on yet. Yeah, for sure. And so, I don't know. We may not have any more really cold weather. I think at the best, Texas will have maybe a day or two of cool weather or cold. Will it get below freezing again? It doesn't look like it, but I mean, I guess it could. Hey, Scott. So I'm not sure. Bob depends. Huh. That's crazy, Bob. Well, like I said, I think if companies can afford it and take care of their employees like that, I think that's what builds. That's a difference in this day and time. Used to, men would go to work for a company and they would be, Chris is saying he's seen a blizzard in late March. Yeah, we've had some years where we've really had some cold weather consistently all the way through March, and then we have some winters where we don't really have that much. Seahawk, but yeah, so I think it's important. I mean, I think it's important that you have loyal employees, especially if you're running a business. And so, Chris, hang on. Kelly Rosenthal on YouTube has a question for you. Go ahead, Kelly. What's the question? Wander, good morning. Thank you. Until the mesquite buds out, we have a chance for weather. Yeah, that's true. But in the past, people would go to work for a company and they'd be there, 30 years, and they had a pension, and a lot of that's just not the case anymore. If you work for the state, there's a few places you can work. And hey, Wander, how's it going this morning? There's a few places that you can work, like counties, some counties, not all. Some counties, the state, Texas Teachers has a great pension plan. That covers a lot of different stuff, but for just out and out companies, most of them have 401k plans anymore, and they don't have a pension plan. So, and the companies contribute to your 401k. And I like 401ks. I think it helps a lot of people because, if your company matches, on average, I'd say most companies match 3 to 5% of whatever you make. But the bad thing is they don't necessarily, company 401ks are very limited in where they invest the money, or where you have the option to invest the money. And sometimes they're not the best options. My daughter also has her degree in law enforcement, and she decided it wasn't for her. Her job now is would it be good for her to pursue the FBI? So, Chris, here's the question. Kelly says her daughter has a degree in law enforcement, and she decided it wasn't for her. Her job now is, Kelly, I don't know what PL is. Would it be, okay, so she doesn't, I'm guessing from what the question, I'm reading this into she doesn't want to be like a patrol officer. And I think Kelly's asking, would it be a good idea if she were to pursue a career with the FBI? Well, what do you think, Chris? And while he's coming up with his answer, I can give you my 2 cents worth on it. I think if, whether it's the FBI, the ATF, Homeland Security, they don't do patrol, but if that's what she doesn't like. But there's lots of jobs inside the federal government, law enforcement jobs that the FBI and those ATF and stuff, they don't do patrol, but they do they can, depending on what your job is inside that organization, they are in harm's way sometimes. Yeah, she doesn't want to work the streets, private investigation. Lori Kinney just joined. Good morning. So Chris, so it sounds like Kelly's, like, her daughter has a degree in law enforcement, but she just doesn't, so Chris says that, working for the federal government, the pay is good. But his personal experience, that's not the type of law enforcement work he would like. But that's why I say there's a lot of different jobs in federal law enforcement. So it just depends. A lot of politics. If you're a federal peace officer, you're forced to retire at age 57, which I'm not. I mean, if you have they do have a good pension. I can tell you that. Yeah. But so I'm guessing Kelly's saying that she's working for a private investigator or a company who does private investigating. Military denied her because she has a lazy eye. Okay. Always like that. I wonder if we were in the middle of wartime, if we were in a world war, if they would turn you down because you had a lazy eye. That's kind of weird, but whatever. There's lots of supportive type jobs in law enforcement too. Maybe that's more her thing. I don't know. Yeah, federal government jobs pay pretty good. That's crazy. Deep Waters. Hey, how's it going? So today's Tuesday. Yeah. Quick reminder, if you'd like to join Ed and I and a bunch of others for Thursday night Bible study, it's 6:30 Central Standard Time. Everyone's welcome. So drop by. Ed streams that on TikTok and YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, you can join too. More and more people are joining. I like to see that. And it's pretty laid back. It's just a group of guys, and they're hanging out in the garage because the women folk are inside. But it's a fun time. Good time. Last about an hour. Always, Ed does a good job with that. Not the kind of law enforcement I'd like doing. So Chris Kelly says that the FBI and that type of law enforcement is not what he would like, because he likes the hands-on dealing with people. And he's right. Depending on where you work, especially if it's the FBI, a lot of those are desk jobs. So yeah, if that's the kind of work she likes to do, then I definitely think I think that's probably wouldn't be a bad direction for her to try to do that. I can tell you, if you work for the federal government, you are required to have a 4-year degree in whatever. It could be basket weaving. If she has a degree in criminal justice or something like that, then they look at our criminal science. But any 4-year degree will work. Without a 4-year degree, they won't even look at you. And I can tell you that from experience. And if you have any family member, so let's say you had a family member that worked for the FBI, then they wouldn't allow your daughter to work for the FBI at the same time. And I don't know if it's just like when my dad worked for ATF, I couldn't have worked for the ATF, but I can't remember if he told me that I couldn't work for any federal law enforcement division as long as he worked for them. But I think it was just the division that he worked for. So she has all the degrees. Good. It doesn't use half of them. Isn't that the norm? People go to college, they get a 4-year degree in whatever it is. And 99% of the time, they don't ever work in the field of what they have a degree in. So I don't know. My oldest granddaughter's currently getting a degree in criminal psychology. Where that came from, she went from wanting to be a physical therapist to taking changed her degree plan the first year in college, and so now she's studying criminal sociology, whatever. And I told her, I said, you do realize those jobs are like in law enforcement, right? She said, yeah. Whoop. 1977. Thank you for joining us over here on TikTok. Let us know where you're from. We're just visiting back and forth, having our coffee. And you know what I forgot this morning? I'm sitting here and I do have a cup of coffee, but I left it in the house. And I didn't want to just jump up and go grab my coffee after I started the live. So I've been sitting here thinking about that cup of coffee sitting in there next to the coffee pot. And I thought maybe my granddaughters would, bring it out to me, but no. Wook, 1977, all the way from Iowa. Hey, Wook, what's the temp there this morning? Let's see how cold it is in Iowa. I bet it's cold. Lots of parties. Isn't that what they all do when they first go to college? Mine learned real quick that all the parties and that type of stuff at college, they think it's fun, and then reality jumps up and hits them right in the face about how much it's costing them to go to school. Of course, we helped her out the first year, but then after the first year, it's strictly on her because my opinion is if you're getting a 4-year degree, you're the one that's going to benefit from it, not me. And so you need to have some skin in the game. And if you don't have any skin in the game, and it doesn't matter whether it's getting an education or, buying a car, buying a house, if you don't have any skin in the game, you probably won't take care of it and you won't treat it the same. If you're the one paying the way, and surprisingly, at least for her too, okay, Wook says it's 25 degrees in Iowa this morning. So like I said, it's cold. Ed, have a great day. Thanks for joining this morning. Look, no, I am not a police officer, but Chris Cowcop is a police officer. He's retired 20 years from Texas Department of, DPS, and currently works for Southwestern Cattle Association as a peace officer. So, yes, if you have any peace officer type questions, you can direct them to him. I can answer some just because I've been around law enforcement for a long time. My father was in law enforcement, a lot of friends and family. So if you hear me talk about it, you might think that I was a peace officer, but I was never a policeman. I did work for the Texas Department of Corrections as a prison guard for a while, but that's it. Your shop reminds me of a game called Farsi. Really? Okay. James Mambo over on YouTube said the shop reminds him of a game called Farsi. Huh. Never heard of it. Jesus loves y'all. Thank you. Child of God 774 just joined. Thank you for joining us over here on TikTok. I appreciate you. Like I said, everybody, if you're new here, don't forget to do all the buttons like share, follow, all that fun stuff. I always check everybody's accounts out at the end. As long as you're not a bot, I'll do the same for you. And if you want to participate in the giveaway, we're giving away a Benchmade pocket knife Wednesday. So tomorrow at 12 noon is the cutoff for entry. And all you need to do is send email to Dave's shop #2@gmail.com, and in the subject line type away giveaway or Benchmade raffle, something, so that I know that that's what you want to be entered in the raffle. Thank you. Look, I appreciate that. Okay, so we had a lot of great parties. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy that so this wall behind me, like how it came together, I've always wanted, and I can turn the camera just a little bit. I've got quite a few signs. This is just part of it. I have another wall on the other side that I'm starting to collect signs there. I have a little partial partition that faces the street that's got some signs on it. Of course, you only get to see them if I have the shop door open, but right now it's closed. So, and that's just more of a noise issue. And of course, in the wintertime, it keeps it warmer in here too. Thank you, child of God. Appreciate you. Your dad my dad put me here. Oh, okay. James on YouTube. I'm 28, trying to open myself to society. I said something that I shouldn't do, so I won't regret. Wow. Kind of deep there, James. Apache Junction. How's it going, Chris? So far, some people's name. Give you some advice. Okay, so if I was being funny, if I was just telling a joke, James, I'd say don't take any wooden nickels. But I don't think your comment was going in that direction. I'm not sure that I'm qualified to give out that kind of advice. So I'll share it with everybody else. James on YouTube says he's 28 and he's trying to open himself to society. And he wants us to give him some advice and something that he shouldn't do so he won't regret. So if there's anybody that just heard that on the live and you have a piece of advice for James, let me know. If you're on YouTube, you can just post it and James will see it. check the email. Yeah, Kelly, I think I have yours. I'm pretty sure. Let me look here. Sorry, I got to move the camera. Yep, I got yours. I got yours, Kelly. Don't judge people, be humble. That's a good piece of advice, Kelly. Don't judge people, be humble. I always tell everybody be kind, because it's really easy to be kind to people, and you just never know what somebody's going through. And so James needs to go to church. Yeah, going to church is that's a good piece of advice too. I like that. Chris says, treat people better than what they deserve. So see, there's a lot right there, James. Be kind, treat people with respect. Treat them better than they deserve to be treated. Be understanding, and like I said, you never know when you meet somebody what they might be experiencing or going through. You just don't know. You never know. And so it's a whole lot easier to be nice. As my granny used to say, you sure do attract a whole lot more honey if you're sweet than if you're nasty. So, yeah, be sweet, be kind, and treat people with respect. And I think that's probably everybody that joins these lives, that I'd say that's the kind of advice that you'd get here. For sure. Well, guys, it is, yeah, just like Chris says, you never regret treating people right. Never do you have a regret. Sometimes it's hard, because sometimes, people can be, people don't always, everybody wants to be nice all the time, but even the nicest of people have days where maybe you catch them in the wrong mood, maybe something's happened to them, something's going on in their life, and maybe that day, that time, they're not quite as friendly or, here to spread the word. That's good. Yeah. And be yourself. That's true. Be yourself. Okay, Chris has got to go do some chores, work on the horse case. All right. Thanks for joining us, Chris. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey, everybody, it's about 7:15. I've kind of run out of stuff to chit chat about, and I do have something that I need to go get taken care of this morning. So I may cut this off about 15 minutes earlier than normal. So unless anyone else has something they want to chit chat about or discuss, remember, be kind today. Have a great day. If you're in the cold weather part of the United States, stay warm. Don't forget, if you want to enter into the giveaway, to send me an email so that I can get that done. And we will be back here tomorrow, Wednesday, February the 11th, 6 a.m. for Morning Coffee Talk Live with Dave. And until then, everybody have a great day. Thank you for joining. Thank you for all the support. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Without all of you, this wouldn't be happening. So you all make this go and worth the time and effort. So thank you, everybody. Y'all have a great and wonderful day, and I'll be back in the morning. I'll see you then. Stay safe.